Hello guys and welcome to episode 4 of Fight Talk with myself, James Banks. I'm here bringing you action from across a multitude of esports titles from the fighting games community. This time round though, so the first 3 episodes were all on Street Fighter. Today I have a very special guest, the man who's kind of like, in my eyes, maybe the godfather of the Pokken community, as well as a successful player. It is Allister. Allister, thank you very much for joining me here today. And it's
Hey, James.
ridiculously early for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about, what time is it? Like 6:30 a.m.?
I got him out of
Yeah,
bed early, see, because these time scales between America and here is just a bit too drastic.
no worries. It's all for the love.
It's all for love, exactly. So let's start with your introduction. Let me know just a little bit about you as a person, your age, what you're doing, that kind of stuff, please.
Okay. Well, hey everyone. My name's Allister Singh, and I'm a professional Pokken Tournament player for Set to Destroy X. And I'm 25 years old, and I come from the Bay Area in beautiful Northern California.
Lovely, lovely. And I bet you got nice weather out there now, haven't you?
Yes. A little nerdy stuff. I'm at work right now.
See, you come to work early just to come do this. So,
Yeah.
what got you into gaming? What was the thing that started you off? And I mean, like right at the beginning, before Pokken, before anything else.
Mm, are we talking gaming in general or competitive?
Yeah, yeah, gaming in general.
Okay. Well, back when I was much younger, I would go to my friend's house a lot because there wasn't really anything at home.
Mm.
We didn't even have like a TV or anything. So I was either playing outside, I'd be playing basketball or something, or I'd be going to my friend's house. And I'd be going to this friend's house because he had video games, right? And video games were like, it was the thing back then. Like, oh, you have a video game, whether it's like Tetris or Atari or whatever, like I want to play,
Yeah.
But no one has that. So I'd go over to his house. We'd play stuff like Centipede, Space Invaders and stuff like that, and we'd have fun. We'd always try to beat each other's high scores and stuff. And then my friend's cousin, he would come over. He was older, right? The older, cooler cousin and everything. He'd come over, and he'd always beat our high scores. And then that's when me and my friend just like we just had this. It just ignited this passion. Like I want to be better than that guy. He keeps beating us. So we would just sit there for hours and keep playing and playing and find strategies to get like higher scores. And I don't know if that's like a dip to competitive gaming, but that was our first take on gaming. And then eventually, uh, the Game Boy came out, and then Pokemon Red and Blue came out,
Oh
and we just
goodness.
hopped on that. We are like, whoa, we can like battle each other. We can like train these little monsters and stuff and catch them. And yeah, we just got super addicted to Pokemon. And
And
then,
the rest
yeah,
is history.
yep, pretty much, yeah.
So obviously you had that competitive nature even back then when you started. What was the first competitive game that you got into?
So the first serious competitive game I got into was Super Smash Brothers Melee for the
Okay.
GameCube. Yeah. So it's not your traditional fight or anything, but definitely there has always been a huge competitive scene,
Yeah.
even then. So I was about 13 years old, and that same friend, we've been best friends for life. He had a GameCube, right?
Hmm.
So I'd go to his house like every single day after school, and we'd play until I had to go home at night, then just go to sleep. But we would just keep grinding and grinding and grinding, and he would pick his favorite character, Marth. I would pick my favorite character, Roy. And it was like the two swordsmen of the game from Fire Emblem. And we just got so competitive with each other, right? He was like, "Oh, my character's better." I'm like, "No, mine is."
I remember these back
Yeah,
and
yeah.
forths.
It was so fun. And then we really want to get on an even like higher platform. We're like,
Mm.
we keep doing the same stuff. We keep throwing out all these spamming moves, and we keep rolling and dodging and evading. And then we found this video online, this combo video, right, of a Marth player. His name was Ken, and we're like, who is this Ken? He he seems like pretty nerdy and stuff because they're just showing a player intro, right?
Mm.
And then it got into the combo video, and this guy was doing absolutely crazy stuff with Marth, stuff we have never seen before. We were like, how's he sliding on the ground? How's he moving so fast? How's he doing all these advanced techniques and combos? We didn't understand, right? And then that became like our new favorite video. We just downloaded it and just watched it over and over and over again. And then we eventually just looked up this Ken guy and we just became obsessed with him because apparently, he's been dominating the melee scene.
Yep.
He's been winning all these tournaments. He's been on TV. He wins all these MLG tournaments. And we just wanted to be just like him. And we just saw his success and we strive to be like him. And eventually he became like an idol and role model of ours. But yeah, Melee, definitely our first competitive game.
Now, did you compete in Melee? And actually, who was better out of you and your best friend?
So, so eventually we did compete in Melee, and it was definitely hard at first because back then the scene wasn't as huge in esports as it was now.
Yeah.
We were definitely still part of the scene, and we were always online on like the forums, Smash boards and stuff. We had our accounts, we would do discussions, but no one knew of our age. No one knew we were just like 13-year-old boys, 14-year-old boys. So we would show up to tournaments. Yeah, we'd show up to these tournaments, and they're like, "You're Allister?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up? I'm here to play some Melee." They're like, "How did you get here? You're only like 13 years old." Like, does your mom know you're here? Like,
Yeah.
and then we were a little upset because to us, like, our age didn't matter. We just loved the game. We wanted to play and we wanted to get better and meet more people. And it was hard at first because everyone was much older. They're in their like late teens or early 20s and stuff. It was kind of like hard to communicate or conversate and stuff. But it was cool because eventually we just kept on playing and playing the game we loved. So yeah, eventually we would just take the bus around the Bay Area to every local we could find.
What did your parents think of that? Because I know, like me, back when I was playing, parents would be a bit skeptical about you going to these events and going away being so young. Did you get a bit of resistance?
They did not know.
Oh,
They
wow.
Our love was so great for the game. We had to sneak out or make up some excuse like, "Hey, mom, I'm going to this new library that opened up with Gavin. We're gonna go study or something."
Oh, yeah, study.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, just his mom's gonna drop you off. I'm like, yeah, they got me. Don't worry. And then he would say the same thing to his parents and stuff, and we would just go out all day during like Friday or Saturday to a tournament.
Did you ever get caught?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Okay, do they know this now, though, in case they watch this video at any point? Or did you just dob yourself in?
They definitely know now. They definitely know now. Because once I got older, like when I turned like around 17 or 18,
Yeah.
I just kept on going out more and more. And then they're like, "Why weren't you like the good little kid that used to go to the library and stuff and study?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, it was for video game tournaments."
Okay.
My mom blew up. She shook her head. She's like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so disappointed in you. Do you even get anything out of it?" And I was like, "Fun, money, friends." She's like, "Well, that's all right as long as you're safe. As long as you're safe." It's every parent will wish for their child. But yeah.
Well, it's paid off now. And actually, do you see any competitive success back then before, say, getting into the Pokken side of things?
I mean, like, as I grew older and older, I would win some locals. I would place top 8 and stuff and some regional stuff. But to me, the real important success was competing and seeing improvements,
Okay. Yeah,
because
learning.
yeah, if you just go to a tournament and like go 0-2 every single tournament, but it speaks, your result speaks for itself.
Okay.
If I like, going to a tournament back then, I used to go 0-2. Then eventually I would win one game. And then I would pop off so hard because I'm like, yo, that's never happened yet. I've been to like 4 tournaments, but I finally won a game, Whether my opponent's skill level was below me or not, it felt like I saw improvement. I can see it in my own play, feel it, And next time I would come back harder and harder. And eventually I just got better and better and really just got into the competitive aspect of the game. So improvement, definitely, that's the number one success to me.
Okay, I like it. And that's the thing about fighting games in general. You've got to learn and grow every step of the way. Now,
Definitely.
Did you have anything between Melee to Pokken, or did you stay on Melee and transition over to Pokken? How did it work for you?
So this was like the toughest decision of my life. So uh, I'm still a huge Melee enthusiast, right? But
Hmm.
back then, that was my life. That was my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Melee all day, every day, right? I'd grind for hours, research for hours, theory craft, practice, my execution, watch videos, all that stuff. And then I was also into, I'm a huge Gundam fan, right?
Ah.
So yeah, so here and there, like Gundam isn't so huge in America,
Mm,
but it's a household name in Japan. It's huge in Japan.
of course.
So I would always watch arcade tournaments in Japan on my free time, just looking at all these Gundam games. Like, wow, like this is an awesome game. I wish it was here in the U.S. And eventually, you would see other arcade games and stuff. And then I came across this 3D Pokemon thing. I was like, whoa, what's going on? This is a pretty cool cinematic. I've never seen such detailed Pokemon anything like this
Yeah.
before. And then it was like, oh, Pokemon fighting game, Bandai Namco. It's called Pokken Tournament stuff. And I was like, this is fake. This is dumb. Like, it's a cool concept. It's something I dreamed about since I was a kid. Controlling your Pokemon,
Yeah.
using all these moves and stuff. But it was just too good to be true. And then eventually, I just read it like in a news article, like, yeah, Pokken Tournament's coming to the arcade system is in Japan next year. I was like, what the heck? That's nuts. And then I got sad because I was like, well, it's never coming to the States, so I should just stick with Melee.
Because we get that all the time, don't we? We see these cool things, and like, I get your feeling on this because I had the same. It's like you play Pokemon, you play the games, but you always want it to be that kind of 1v1 take control of Pokemon. So you see this, and then you see it's all in Japanese, and you think, oh man, we're just not going to get this, are we?
Yeah, just give up, right?
Yeah, it's just crushing.
Yeah. And then after that, I was watching like a few tournaments. I wasn't really too into it because I was just hopeless, right? But it was just really cool seeing all these combos and flashy stuff that was in Pokken Tournament. And then one day, my friend was just like, "Hey, bro, did you hear about that Pokemon fighting game that's coming to the Wii U? They announced it." I was like, "We're not talking about that. You're not talking about the same game, man. No
Yeah.
way. Like, what's it called? Pokken Tournament." I'm like, "No, what you smoking, dude? Like, it's not coming to the States, Like, you tripping. And then he showed me this article, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, it's it's coming to the Wii U. Holy crap! I need to get me a Wii U."
That's. I was going to ask you that. Did you actually have a Wii U? Because obviously,
I didn't. I didn't. I
yeah.
didn't. I didn't because Melee was life.
Hmm.
And I wasn't really too interested in the new Smash Brothers either. But when they announced Pokken, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a Wii U and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then they announced this like pre-release tournaments for the Pokken tournament, right? It was like at like 10 select cities around the US at certain game stops. And luckily one was literally like a 10-minute drive from me. I
Perfect.
was like, oh my goodness. And then I read details and it said winner gets like a free flight trip to New York City. I'm like, I've never been to New York. And then you get to face against all the other champions in the other cities. And then if you win, you're crowned like the champion of the pre-release Pokken tournament. I was like, yo, I think this might be my calling.
Mm.
This is nuts. So I had to make that decision. I was like, okay, should I just keep practicing Melee or should I invest all my time right now into like just researching like how to play the game, the controls? Because there's
Yeah.
all these Japanese guides that I can translate, right? And so I was heavily looking into that. I'm like, okay, what's the metagame right now? Who are these players? Okay, a lot of them are using Gengar. This is how you do his loop. This is how you jump. This is how you counter. This is how you grab, and all this stuff. And then I was just taking all these notes, right, for this tournament. And then I decided, okay, I'm just gonna take a break from Melee. What if
Yeah.
I don't end up liking Pokken? I love the idea of Pokken, but what if I don't like how it feels? Because in Melee, it's so execution heavy. You have all this mobility, this movement, this freedom, right? And at Pokken, it looked kind of a little slower.
Mm.
And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take a break from Melee. I'll try out Pokken. And then I went to this GameStop tournament, and there's this. I went pretty early, like maybe 3 hours before they opened, because I assumed people would like camp out for this, because they would cap it at like 64 people.
Of course.
And man, I was like the 30th person in line. I was like, holy crap! Like, how long have you guys been here? Like
Yeah.
overnight? I was like, dang, you guys are nuts. But I'm gonna destroy everybody. None of you guys did your research. None of you guys know your stuff. So we were waiting, and then the tournament started. I won my first match easy. I won my second match. It was like almost double perfect. And I kept on going on and on. And then before you knew it, I was in grand finals. I was like, yo, I am super nervous. My hands are sweaty, you know.
Now, had you been in a grand finals position before this?
Um, Definitely for like Melee, but it was for like, smaller tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
But this being like a brand new game, it was super popular and hot. And it was for like a free trip to New York to compete in the like finals against everyone else. It was just like, it felt like a whole different world, you know?
Yeah, the most pressure.
Yeah. I was so nervous. I was so nervous. But then in grand finals, I was using Gengar, which is a very technical character. It was super hard to use and still hard to use.
Mm.
And I was facing this Gardevoir, right? And then this guy, for some reason, he just only used two different moves, right? I don't think he even knew how to like counter or grab or anything. But I couldn't deal with it. I could not deal with it. He was just spamming all these projectiles and fireballs and stuff, and I was trying my hardest to get around it, you know? And then it was pretty close, but he got the best of me. He beat me. And then I was so crushed, you know? I was about to cry. I'm like, I could have gotten that trip, you know? I couldn't experience all this stuff, and, you know, it fell out of my hands. So after that, I was like a little sad. I was a little beaten up, tore up about it after putting all this hard work. But then I was like, okay, should I stay like sad about it and just move back to Melee? Or should my like competitive spirit be like, no way, you can't go down like that. No way you can go down like that. You should improve and just beat everybody in your next tournaments and stuff, you know? And then, yep, that second option just spoke to me. I was like, you know, I'm just going to stick with this and see how I do, you know? I didn't even put like 100% effort into it. So, yeah, eventually I started playing a lot more. I got onto like the top of the leaderboards online and stuff. I was always top 5. I started streaming for fun. A lot of people would watch me. I was like the most popular stream. And then eventually like I started winning all my locals, and it just made sense to me. Pokken made sense to me. And then eventually I just dropped to Melee.
That's good. So this is how we got you into Pokken. This is the journey up to it. Now, for me, do you have to be, this is for people that haven't touched the game, haven't got interest in it, do you have to be a Pokemon fan to enjoy and play this game? Or can you just appreciate the beauty of it as its own individual game and as a game, as a fighting game?
Well, James, I've met a lot of people getting into Pokken, right? Whether they're already in the community or whether they're outside of it or interested, right? So definitely the majority of people who started out with Pokken were Pokemon fans, right? Because it felt like it. Obviously, when you see like a Pokemon and Tekken crossover, the first thing you see is Pokemon, right? That's what the characters are. So it definitely appealed to the Pokemon fans right away. And then I noticed this trend where there's a lot of Pokemon fans that try the game, but also it was their first fighting game. And so these Pokemon guys, they're used to their RPGs, turn-based, all that stuff. But when they tried Pokken, it made no sense to them, you know? They didn't know what to do. They're like button mashing. They didn't know their options, and they would just get destroyed by the simplest stuff. And, you know, they would get a little frustrated here and there. Like, why is this happening? You know, this game is dumb. I suck. I shouldn't bother wasting my time on it and stuff. But, you know, everyone's like that with their first fighting game, you know? It's not the easiest thing in the world.
No.
It's much deeper.
Steep learning curve.
Definitely. You know, and some didn't accept that. Some did accept it and want to learn stuff. And then eventually, later on, once Pokken became a little more developed, it started attracting more and more fighting game enthusiasts. Now, with these fighting game enthusiasts, they're super traditional, you know? They're like, you know, okay, where's my OSs? Where's my DP? Where's all this stuff, you know? And a lot of them came from like, you know, like Street Fighter, Tekken, Soul Calibur, even some anime fighters, you know. and they would try it out, and they'd be like, "This is a little different from my liking," because there's that there's like a support system, there's like a 3D movement and field phase.
Yep.
So it didn't appeal to some people, and others caught up on it quickly. Others, it wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna go back to Street Fighter. This is a real fighting game and stuff, just because it was unique to them. They weren't really feeling it. So this game was perfect though for people like me that loved Pokemon and loved fighting games.
Yes.
The dream come true, because we have the best of both worlds, literally. Like, I know all these Pokemon. I recognize all these Pokemon and stuff. Their characteristics and moves make sense. I love fighting games. I understand frame data. I know when it's my turn to attack and stuff. I know what like anti-airs are and stuff. It was a dream come true, and a lot of people were like that. A lot of people loved fighting games in Pokemon, and this game was just meant for them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the Pokken community, how would you describe that to me? Because to me, obviously, you had to be super loyal to the Wii U up until obviously the recent announcement that we'll come on to later. But you had to be super loyal to the Wii U, and I guess a lot of people went out there and bought the Wii U pretty much for that game. But what is it like in this community? Because I guess you've kind of been hindered by that in a way as well.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of weird because I've never been part of a brand new game where the community had to start from scratch. So it was definitely weird. But in a nutshell, the community, it's number one, it's passionate, right?
Yep.
There's many other fighting games that are, with community members that are passionate, but others, they can be in it for the money, or just in it to kill some time or something, or do it more of a social thing. But definitely a majority of the community, they're so passionate about the game, right? And people well, aren't all people? But Pokken didn't have the greatest feedback, when it first came out. It didn't have, initially, some people just wrote it off and stuff. Like, for example, when Injustice 2 came out, everybody and their mother was on it, right? No questions asked. But with Pokken, that wasn't the case, And yeah, there's so many people against Pokken. There's so many people that love Pokken, but everybody that played Pokken, they never bashed on any other community. They never compared Pokken to any other game. They know what's up. They know Pokken is its own game.
Yeah.
And they were just so friendly and stuff, They're so welcoming, And like me being a member of the community back then, anytime someone asked about Pokken, I'd be like, yo, Pokken is dope, dude. You want to try it? There's a free demo on the eShop. If you decide to get the game, I'll help you out, dude. And everybody was just like me, Everyone was just cool. They just wanted to have fun. They can either play casually or on a competitive level. No one was afraid to ask questions or contact each other. And a lot of us became just friends online, We would just say, hey, what's up, dude? How you doing today, And just talk about stuff even outside of Pokken.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, it is on the Wii U, and the Wii U was a platform that was kind of a struggle,
Yeah.
It wasn't the most popular console, Wii U is very proprietary, and because of Pokken Tournament, 3D phase with field phase, transition to dual phase, for tournament play, it was required to use 2 Wii U's. Unlike, Smash Brothers for Wii U, where you can just use one console and one monitor. Yeah, so Pokken required 2 Wii U's, 2 LAN adapters, crossover cable, and 2 monitors, right? And that's such high maintenance.
Yeah.
Such high maintenance, But the Pokken community is just that passionate. We're done. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get this taken care of. We're gonna play this game to its fullest potential. And then that became a tournament standard. At every local, you had to have 2 setups and stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would go to tournaments. We'd fly out to tournaments. We would bring our Wii U, our monitor, or whatever in our bags, just so we can play friendlies in our hotels. And we were just very loyal to it, despite the struggle of setting it up. But yeah, it's just awesome community, very loving, very welcoming, willing to teach everyone and their mother about Pokken tournaments and stuff, and willing to go anywhere. I know people that would drive 3 to 4 hours just to go to a local and support it and stuff, So yeah.
And so talking about the locals, obviously at one point you started up your own local. How did you find that whole experience? Because from me looking from the outside in, you seem to be like a big community figurehead. I obviously refer to you as like the Godfather of Pokken, but do you reckon like you want to see more people start up these local events, and if you have any advice for them, that kind of thing? Because I think that is for any fighting game it's required, but it seems almost harder to do for this game.
Yeah, definitely. So maybe about maybe about a few weeks after the game came out,
Mm.
when I felt like I was ready, like pretty good and stuff. There was a Pokken Tournament page, right, for my region in NorCal, and there were many members of the group and everything, but everyone would keep asking, like, so when's the next local? And some locals they did start up, but they would ride off of like other tournaments. They put like one Pokken set up there, start like a side tournament,
Yeah.
off of like a Smash Brothers tournament, because it's convenient. There's already WiiU's there. I'm sure they have extra monitors. All we need to do is bring like the LAN adapter in game and stuff. And a lot of people would start off by piggybacking off of other tournaments. But me, I wanted to start like just an all Pokken tournament, right? And a lot of people like, Allister, you're crazy. That's too ambitious. Not everyone's gonna bring their WiiU and stuff. Not everyone knows how it works. And then I don't know. I didn't like that. If someone tells me no, I do not like that.
Mm.
So I wanted to make it possible. So there's this one guy I found, right? He lives all the way in Salinas, and like without traffic, it's maybe like a 2.5 hour drive. With traffic, it's like 4 hours and stuff. So I hit this guy up. I'm like, dude, I noticed you want to start your own all Pokemon local. And he was like, yeah, you too? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, it sucks how we're too far away. And then I was like, send me the address. He was like, what? I'm like, give me the address of the venue you're interested in. And then he was like, why? I'm like, I'm going to be there. I will be there. And he says, you're not coming all the way over here. You are like seriously super far. And I was like, send me the address right now. I'm going to be very upset. He's like, damn, this guy ain't joking. So I called the venue owners and stuff, and they said, yeah, sure, you guys can come through and blah blah. We talked terms and service and everything, and then so I announced it on Facebook for that particular area. I was like, hey guys, this is Alster. That stream you probably watched on Twitch. I am gonna be there at this time and this address. Come through with all of your WiiUs and stuff and monitors if you can, and we're gonna hold a freaking Pokken local, right? And so I planned all of this out. I got all these contacts. I kept on following up with everybody
Mm.
and my buddy and like make sure they can come. Can they RSVP? What can they bring? I had a checklist of everything. Can we stream it? All this stuff, right? And after all this planning, I drove there. It took about 3 hours, and I'll admit it sucked. It really sucked driving that far. But it was worth it in the end, because when I got there, it was super cool to like meet everybody, everyone else that plays Pokken and stuff.
Okay.
And so we had this small little corner of this trading card shop and stuff, and we only had like two full setups. There were only four we used, but there was like maybe like 26 of us. I was like, yo, let's do this. Let's freaking do this. And we started, and it took forever, right? But we were all just like watching each other. We're all just so competitive. Like, is this guy good? Is that guy good and stuff? We just kept on watching, and eventually, after like many hours, we finished it. And then everyone just had a blast. Everyone had a blast. And after that, we went to go out and celebrate, eat dinner and stuff, and we really got to know one another. And it was just really cool. And it was like the start of a beautiful scene. And then so every week, I'd drive out there, like a 6 hour round trip, just to help this local out, help start it up and everything. And yeah, eventually it became pretty successful and stuff. A lot of people came out, but eventually it really did take a toll on me and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just couldn't do it anymore. But so I just handed it off to my friend, and now he's running that local.
Oh, that's a crazy story of dedication and commitment, man. Hats off to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
And so, what would you recommend to people that want to go and start up their own local? Like any advice you can give them from your experience?
All right. So first of all, just find one person. Just find one person. You don't have to find a group of people or a different scene, try to convince them or anything. Just try to find at least one guy. We're talking like bare bones minimum trying to start a local, okay? So find one guy who's down, who loves the game as much as you, and you guys want to start a scene, right? Just find one guy. Now, this is probably the hardest part, finding space, right? So I would highly recommend just piggybacking off of another tournament. Just say, hey, is it cool if we just use this half of this table for our setup, you know? And do you mind if me and my friend just like just start playing, you know? And if you guys want to join in too, that's cool, you know? Like for my first local, I didn't charge any fee, right, or anything. You know? I would just pay venue out of my pocket because I wanted everyone to have the chance to play. You know, I didn't want anyone to worry about having the money for like that local or the upcoming local. So I funded everything myself just to make it easier on everyone. But yeah, just find one guy and then find just that small space that you need, right? Just to make it happen. Just to make it happen, you know, bare bones. And then after that, do your marketing, do your advertisement, do your networking, you know. And people may say, oh, you know, it sounds a lot easier than done, but you haven't tried it. You haven't tried it. You know, a lot of people will just say it's impossible to start a local where I am. There's no one around me. It just can't be done. You can't say that until you've literally tried it.
Yeah.
All right. Like you'll never know what can happen. Like look where I am now. You know, like you'll just never know what you can do unless you set your mind to it. You know, and definitely I've seen a lot of success around the United States of people just trying it once. You know, and if they failed the first time, they would try it again and try it again. Boom. They have like a beautiful scene and like beautiful friends that love Pokken Tournament too. And they become consistent stuff. But yeah, definitely just find that one person that's there for the ride with you and that small space to get it done and just tell the whole world about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, are you in this area? You want to try this game out? You interested? You just want to watch? You just want to come by and watch or just even talk or something, you know? And you know, eventually, you know, the best things can happen. So
I like it. Sound advice. Sound advice.
yeah.
Okay, so Pokken versus other fighting games. What have their reaction been? And I mean, I'm guessing you've seen people come over from many different games, maybe come and like it, come and not like it. But what's the relationship between you guys and the other fighting games when you go to the big events like CEO?
So initially, when like the first majors happened or like the first regionals happened and stuff, people saw it. You know, like I've never even heard of Pokken Tournament. You know,
Yes.
it looks kind of weird. It looks like a Naruto game. Oh, now it looks like Street Fighter. Now it's back to Naruto. I don't really understand. There isn't all that many Pokemon. Why didn't they put like all 700 Pokemon in it and stuff?
That'd be crazy. That's logistically impossible.
Exactly, yeah. It just didn't really make much sense to them, right? But the thing that spoke to them the most was people showed up for it. There's a reason why there's all these people here. There's a reason there's all these players, you know, sitting in the crowd, cheering all these players on, getting hyped, you know, feeling that energy, you know. They're up there on stage playing their heart out and stuff. And they're just looking at it, and you know, a lot of people respected it, you know. Yeah. They may not like accept the game, but they definitely accepted that people are out there to compete for it. So eventually, it became a little more accepted. You know, of course, people from other fighting games are like, it will never be as grand as my fighting game stuff, you know.
The standard.
But yeah. But there will always be good stuff, and there will always be objectively better stuff, you know. And so people who think their stuff is better, if they look down on something that's not as liking to their stuff, they'll just write it off, you know. They'll just write it off. Like if I eat a sandwich from like Subway, you know, it's pretty good. If I go to like a class deli and eat the sandwich, all of a sudden I think this is much better. Do I think Subway's trash? Of course not. You know, it's just a different mindset. But
I like the way you explained that. Then that makes perfect sense.
Thank you. But yeah, it didn't make too much sense to people, but definitely like people showing up in numbers and us showing our love for the game. That's to me that's the that's the deal breaker for real. So
Okay. Now, I heard there's a lot of like anti-Pokemon, anti-Nintendo fans. Do you see that when you come to these events, or do you think maybe that's a reason that people just don't try the game? Because as a game itself, from what I've experienced of it, it plays solidly. It
Mhm,
looks good, but do you
mhm.
think people just go, "Oh, it's Pokemon, no," or "It's Nintendo, no, I don't want anything to do with it," because maybe they think it's too childish or whatever?
um, definitely I would have to agree to an extent over there. So I see it all the times at every single tournament I go to, right? Someone will like check out like, oh, what's this game? I didn't know it was at this tournament.
Mm.
They'd walk over like Pokemon. That's dumb.
Yeah,
Why the hell is Pokemon a fighting game? Man, all these guys are like pretty nerdy, and stuff because they're so used to their classic Street Fighter,
yeah,
they're so used to their classic Tekken, Soul Calibur, all that stuff. And then when they see like Pokemon, these like things that were marketed once to like young children and stuff for younger demographics, they see it in a fighting game, it's common for them to write it off immediately, because Nintendo hasn't always been like like rated M for mature, rated T for teens or everything.
yeah.
It's supposed to cater to everyone and all the kids love and stuff, but uh, it just doesn't make sense to them because yeah, it's just like that family friendly game. That's that brand, that's Nintendo, and they're more into like hardcore gaming, hardcore graphics, more
Yeah.
violence and all this stuff, and games don't need to be all like that just for it to be fun, but it's just something there a lot of people are used to,
Mm.
you know.
But you
And
still
some
see
people,
with Pokken that it requires so much skill. Like that top level play is still super competitive. You've got to be putting in the
it's
time and
ridiculous.
practice just like any other game. And that's where almost when I'm looking at it, I'm like, how can people say this about it? Because they probably couldn't do what these guys are doing.
Exactly. It's not everyone, just like a handful of people, but they'll always be there, and
Yeah.
to each their own and everything. But definitely there are a lot of people that do swoop by and like, what the hell is this? Pokemon Tekken? Yo, I am down. Let me try this. This
Yeah.
is nuts. And we definitely have a lot of those people. Love those guys. Those guys are pretty cool. So
The converting is real. So
yes.
obviously, DX is going to come to the Switch. That is the big news. Do
Hmm.
you think this is what will give you guys and the community the boost it needs and deserves? So you're on a
Yes.
platform that is so much more popular, especially at the moment. Like I have a Switch and I had it before I even knew that Pokken was coming to it. Um, Obviously, it's going to have such a bigger player base. But do you think it also looks like they're going to fix all the problems in terms of like how you have to play the game, having updates and stuff done to it, like you called out so many times? Do you think this is just going to make it so much more accessible?
Mm, definitely because like now that the Wii U's out of print, a lot of people who were previous Wii U owners are now hopping onto the Switch,
Yeah.
and the Switch is like it's like a godsend for Pokken. It definitely can resolve so many issues, and having the Switch just like it's literally just like a tablet.
Yeah.
It's so portable. There's no more lugging around these Wii U's and the heavy power brick and the cables, making sure we have our LAN adapter and the disc and all this stuff, right?
Hmm.
No longer we can just carry like this small little pouch to a tournament, and just play it handheld or connect it to a TV. It's like it's awesome, and we no longer have to do like we you don't have to do connecting it through LAN. You can just do ad hoc and everything.
Yeah.
I tried ad hoc, and it runs beautifully. I didn't notice any major latency issues or lag or anything. It's awesome. So the portability definitely helps so much.
Mm.
Definitely helps so much, and it can definitely be run at tournaments a lot easier. Maybe tournaments can provide docks and monitors so we can play on like a tournament format and stuff.
Yep.
And it's just being able to access it is so much easier. You can play it on the go. Um, Also, for those who don't know, back then Pokemon on the Wii right now, actually, it doesn't have split screen or anything. You have to have two monitors, or one person plays on a monitor, the other plays on the gamepad for the Wii U, and
Yeah.
it was like 30 frames per second. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world, But now they introduced a split screen as well, right? Finally, because you know how there's like two different perspectives for the Pokemon and field phase.
Yeah.
Now they have a split screen. So for those who can't afford a monitor or don't have a monitor or want to start up a very simple local for people to try it out, the split screen functionality definitely helps so much. Definitely helps so much. But yeah, just having it on the Switch, it's definitely a godsend. There's so much improvements and stuff.
So obviously you hammered the developers. I was looking at some of your tweets where it was like, "Can we get 1.5? Can we get 1. Like, oh my God, you could make meme after meme out of this." I was watching every time Pokemon tweeted. You were there. You were
Yes.
you were on their heels.
Yes.
Did they listen to you then? But obviously you didn't get everything you needed. But do you think that they're now listening to people like you come into DX? Because obviously we saw you at E3, you were directly there with the developers. I know Nintendo want to push an esport, and they're looking at that Splatoon, which is obviously a whole different kettle of fish. But to me, Pokken is here. It has the potential. It is an esport. It can get bigger. They just need to support it some more. So what do you think from obviously dealing with them? Is this going to happen? Are they going to be right behind it? Are they going to listen to you guys? Or are we going to end up in almost a same situation where we're going to have to hammer them for stuff?
How do I say this?
They have to be hands-on, because you look at like Capcom or you look at Bandai, they're there and they're adjusting the game. Like Tekken came out within a couple of days to a week. They were already updating things and making the changes needed for the competitive gameplay and online gameplay and stuff like that. Do you think we'll see this from them this time round?
So definitely, like Capcom, they're very notable because they do accept a lot of feedback. They do acknowledge all these things and take things seriously, and they will take action on it. Nintendo, they weren't the most famous people for doing it, but like starting off with the Pokemon Company International, their Twitter, they'd post multiple times a day, and then obviously I was the first person there because I subscribed to those tweets, and I just wanted them to know, because our community, very close knit community, we do have all these opinions and wishes and little demands here and there, and stuff we wish that could improve,
Yeah.
But something huge I noticed was everybody in the Pokken community was saying all these things, but they were saying it to each other. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I wanted the people upstairs to know, So one day I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna, they have like millions of followers on Pokemon account. I don't care. I'm just gonna say something, because like I said before, you'll never know until you try.
Yeah.
So they started tweeting some random Pokemon stuff. I didn't care about it. You know what I said? Hey guys, so when is 1.5 coming to the Wii U? When are we gonna get our update on the Wii U? The Japan arcades, they're like 2 versions ahead of us. They have 4 DLC characters. What's up with the Wii U? A lot of people want it around the world. And then, people liked it. People commented on it. People agreed. Some people disagreed, whatever. But to me, the most important part was me being vocal. I put it out there.
Yeah.
Me putting it out there, other people see it. People start discussing about it, debating, They'll get more attention, more likes, more retweets, And I'm sure if you own any Twitter account, you'll definitely notice the most like buzzing tweet reply, So then the next tweet would come. I would say the same thing. I would maybe start some memes.
Your best one was the Ditto. You were like, all I want to transform my Ditto to transform into is the 1.5 update, and I was in hysterics.
Yeah, I would just say anything to get people's attention. Get Pokemon's attention and everything. Because back then, a lot of people thought it was Bandai Namco's fault for not porting the updated version to the Wii U. And then one day, Harada, who also worked on Pokemon initially, someone asked about it, right? They're like, hey, what is the Pokemon update coming to Wii U? And a lot of people kept on bothering him about it. And then one day, this guy asked, and then he randomly replied to this guy. He was like, "It's no longer in our hands. It's up to the publishers and stuff." And then all of a sudden, he deleted that tweet. We were just
Oh,
like, "What the heck was that?"
it's like someone didn't sign off on what he was allowed to say. Yeah.
Exactly. It just deleted, but so many of us screenshotted it, you know? And him deleting that tweet, it definitely made a huge statement,
Mm.
a humongous statement. Like, why would you delete that, you know? And it became buzzing in our community. Like, it's not Bandai Namco, you know?
Yeah.
We should be like voicing our opinions to like Nintendo and Pokemon Company and everything, you know? And then so that's what started my 1.5 stuff too. And then so I just kept on bothering them tweet after tweet after tweets and stuff. And then I noticed this trend. A lot of people hopped on it. Every time there's a new Pokemon tweet, there were many others that would make same comments as me, asking about when the update was coming and stuff. And of course, Pokemon, you know, them being like a professional corporation, they never replied to me or reached out to me or even liked or whatever. You know, it's understandable. It's something I expected.
Yeah.
But for the future of like, you know, feedback like that and stuff, I think it can definitely happen. I think Nintendo and TPCI, they can definitely make some adjustments and listen to their fans and player base and stuff if people become more vocal.
Mm.
You know, I was just one guy and I made that huge little moment, you know, where like, oh, it's Allister. I'm gonna wait for his tweet out to Pokemon Company. Oh, look,
Yeah.
it's gonna come in 10 seconds. Oh, look, he did it, you know. People are always anticipating and stuff, you know. And I was just one guy. Imagine if everybody started doing that, you know, it will definitely turn heads. Definitely turn heads. So for anyone that's watching this, you know, just try it out. Just say something, say what's on your mind, you know, just tell it to them, make it public, you know, share it with your friends. And also, prior to E3, Nintendo, they definitely shook like the competitive gaming world. They made the Twitter account Nintendo Versus, right? Nintendo VS. They made
Yep.
a Twitter account, and it was verified and everything. It was official. And we were like, "What the hell is this? This is a brand new account," you know. And then they're announcing their competitive gaming lineup for E3, the little invitationals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then people are like, "Oh my goodness, they're making a humongous statement here," you know. Because back then, when we saw the Switch trailer, you know, at the end of that trailer, that first trailer, we saw the Splatoon teams, you know, walking to that eSports arena.
Yeah.
You know, and there's all this crowd, eSports environment and everything, everyone cheering, these players wearing jerseys, they're all lined up, right, getting ready for a tournament on the Switch. And a lot of people got super hyped for it, but we never heard anything from Nintendo that had to do with like competitive gaming like that, you know, or eSports. And so it raised a lot of people's hopes, but then they never said anything after that, you know, for many, many months. So we just thought it was like a what if thing or like just a joke or something, you know. And when they made this Nintendo versus Twitter, we all just lost our minds. We were just so mind blown. We're like, oh
Suddenly
my
become
goodness,
real.
yeah, this can really happen. You know, they're taking a dive into this. They're trying it. You know, they're testing the waters. They're dipping their foot in the water. You know,
Mm.
so
And
definitely
a
that.
long time coming, right, for Nintendo?
Yeah.
Because like they've spoke about esports on and off for ages, but they've never really had a title that can do it. You had Smash, but they didn't support it. You had Melee, they weren't putting the money behind it. This to me seems like okay, we've got a shot at it that they might actually support it and help a community that's basically built itself grow even further.
Mm-hmm. And it's a huge statement because they're obviously listening. You know, they're not just doing this randomly. There's obviously demand for it. There's no other reason they'd do something like this. You know, so people are definitely like vocal over the years and over the months after the Switch trailer and stuff. And definitely, you know, they started up that Twitter and it turned a lot of heads. It opened a lot of eyes. So yeah, I'm gonna say it again. Like if you have like an opinion or thoughts or wish or demand or anything, you know, reach out to them, say something, you know.
Yeah.
You can even send a letter, an email, or a tweet, something simple. We could comment on Facebook, you know, and eventually, you know, they'll come across it. There's a lot of people demanding it, so yeah,
They can't ignore the community forever, and I think you proved
yeah.
that massively.
There's powers in number.
So while we're on the topic of Nintendo and E3, obviously you went there, you took part of the event. You had a lot of fun. But what was that whole experience like, and how did it come about?
Man, it was one of the best times of my life. But
I can see that from your
prior,
face.
yeah, prior to E3 and the Pokken announcement with that Pokemon Direct and everything,
Yeah.
I was just doing me, just going on like the Pokken Discord, talking to other people, helping other people get better at the game, practicing Pokken, doing my usual stuff. And then one day, I get this direct message on Twitter from a Nintendo rep, and then they're like, "Hey, can you send an email?" I was like, "Is this a fake account? Is this a fake account or something?" And I clicked on it, and I'm like, "Whoa, this is the real deal." This is the real deal. But I got scared, I thought they were gonna like sue me for all these like 1.5 harassment tweets to like Pokemon Company and stuff. I got a little scared, I was heated. I was sweating a little. I was like, "Do I email them? Like,
What have I done?"
And so I was like, "Sure, here's my email." And then we exchanged emails and stuff. And then they're like, "Hey, this is concerning E3, And then I was like, E3, like, what the hell? Like, what do you guys want to do with me? Like, are you guys gonna shame me on live stream about my harassment and stuff?
We're getting revenge for all the abuse you've given us.
Yeah, they're like, it's confidential. We can't tell you what it is right now, but would you be down for an event at E3? And I was like, oh, I'd love to. It's in the same state I live in too, but unfortunately those tickets are sold out. And those tickets are expensive. It's like $200, $300 or something. And I was like, yeah, I can't get in. They're like, we'll get you in. Just tell us if you are interested or not. I was like, yeah. Okay, we'll go with this. Sure. I don't know what you guys are trying to do, but yeah, I'm down. And then they would just keep asking me questions like my contact information. They'd have me read over stuff and event details and stuff, but I didn't know exactly what it was for. This was like a while ago. Right?
So they didn't even tell you then? Like, I'm assuming you would have had like some NDA and they've given you the information like, look, it's Pokken, this is all coming out, but you've got to sign this, and if you say anything, we're going to sue you into the ground.
They didn't tell me anything. And then,
wow.
Yeah. And then, so James, like day and night, every second that passed by, I was like biting my nails, like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm a huge Nintendo fan, and I'm a huge, and they didn't tell me jack. They didn't say anything. So day and night, I would just keep checking my phone for my emails, refreshing it and everything, and I get nothing, right? So I had to play the patient game, and they'd send me small messages here and there, like, make sure you don't tell anyone, you're going to E3. Blah, blah, do you know anyone else going to E3 and all this stuff? And eventually, after some patient waiting, they're like, congratulations, Allister. You're going to be one of our invitees to Pokken Tournament Deluxe Invitational at E3. And then I was like, okay, let me reread that again. Pokken Tournament Deluxe.
What is it?
Yeah, I was like, the hell? The hell is this? I don't understand. Maybe it's like the name of the event or something, right? Yeah. And then so I was still in shock. I was trying to research stuff I didn't really understand. And then the Pokemon Direct eventually got announced and stuff. And I found out what Pokemon Deluxe was. I lost my mind and everything, and I was jumping for joy. It actually happened here at work. And then it was like a quiet workspace and stuff. And then when I found out about Pokemon Deluxe, I stood up from my chair. I popped off so hard. I was yelling like, yo, let's go. Let's freaking go. And everyone was like staring at me like, yo, are you okay? I knocked over my chair. I was like parading around work. I was just like, it felt like Christmas, I was just so happy. And then the Pokemon Direct came out, and then everyone found out about Pokken Tournament Deluxe, and it turned so many heads, and everybody in the community was just jumping for joy. Everyone lost it, We got a lot more than just the DLC characters and everything. We got a brand new character. It was cool. And yeah, after that hyped up, Nintendo finally announced that the 8 players, right? The 8 people that are going to be at the Invitational. So, there were like 4 popular YouTubers and then 4 popular eSports guys. And then I was honored to be like one of them. And then when the Pokken community found out, everybody was just so happy. Everyone was just celebrating, like, "Yo, we have a Pokken representative in there,"
But
you know?
you were the only Pokken representative for a
Yeah,
Pokken
yeah, I was the
tournament.
only
I was a
Pokken.
bit like, okay, I can see what they're doing, but it doesn't make sense. Like, just invite the Pokken guys.
Yeah, right, right, right. But I do understand what they were shooting for. You know, they wanna target like a diverse audience, or you
Yeah,
know, like
yeah,
every person will have their own like audience and demographics and stuff like that. And so definitely, I definitely think it was like like a smart move from them. You know, they definitely could have done other things, but it was definitely like a smart move. You know, like they invited like these YouTubers. You know, obviously they have all their subscribers and followings and huge
yeah,
networks and stuff, and these different pros, like you know, like Justin Wong. A lot of people who follow like Marvel and Street Fighter are like, oh,
yeah.
Justin Wong,
Like
he's gonna be
the name
Pokken
you
tournament.
can't not know.
Exactly, yeah. And then we have the King of Smash, Ken. You know, all the melee heads turn, and then we have Nairo, like one of the huge names in Smash 4 for the Wii U, which is like perfect. And then, yeah, and then me being the Pokken community representative, everyone in our community was jumping for joy. They're so happy. Like Allister, so like, congratulations, so proud of you. That's awesome. And it was very ecstatic. And yeah, eventually went to E3. I got to try out Pokken Deluxe.
Did they give you a copy? Oh, he can't say.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Well, we'll just say no. They didn't give me a copy. But that was the first time I tried Pokken
Mm.
Deluxe, and I kid you not, James, like I shed a single tear
Oh, wow.
when I
Wow.
tried Pokken Deluxe because you know it's something we've been wanting for so long, you know, and we never heard any answers, you know.
Yeah.
They just waited and waited and just like surprised us in the face, you know. And finally, it was there. It was a real thing. I held the Switch in my hands and I was playing Pokken Tournament. It's just so beautiful to see. Like playing Pokken in handheld, I could walk across the room. There's no wires or anything.
Yeah.
All these new features. It was powerful. The graphics look much better. It loads faster. It was like the best thing in the world. And I got to try it with all these other fantastic people, you know. And I got to like help them out with the game, introduce them to a lot of stuff, and it was just such a beautiful thing. I loved it. And then I got to meet other people like Jordan Kent, one of the casters, fantastic guy, lovely guy. He was definitely interested in the game, and he definitely knew a lot more than I thought.
Mm.
Meeting these YouTubers and stuff, like Matt Pat, my partner for the Invitational, great guy, you know. Like I used to watch some of his videos, and I was just like, this guy seems really cool, but I wonder if he's like that in real life, like very like
Yeah, yeah.
enthusiastic and just happy and giddy. And boy, was he the exact same thing in real life.
That's
He
always
was
good
just
to see because
awesome.
you always wonder if it's put on or not.
I'm sorry.
You always wonder if it's put on or not, and it's good to see when you go, oh, okay, they
Yep,
are exactly that.
yep, 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 yep. So definitely, I found out. And yeah, all of them were just awesome people, you know, and it just felt like a dream come true. You know, we're there
Yeah.
at E3, my first E3, and we're competing in Pokken Tournament Deluxe. Like we're the first people to try it with all these like important people in their communities and stuff. So it was really cool. We did some rehearsals, you know, and then eventually with the invitational happened and stuff, and that was really fun. So yeah.
Now, you obviously said about Ken right at the beginning. What was it like meeting the man himself? Had you met him before this, or was this the first time?
Okay, so like I've been to other events where Ken was there, but
Mm.
like you know I was much younger. I was very intimidated. I was scared. You know, he was like my role model, my
Yeah.
hero. He's definitely my hero. He's the one who got me into like melee and stuff, really into melee. And so meeting him like all this sweat just came down. My hands got tingly. You know, I was like a little out of breath. You know, because even though like I'm much older now, you know, I'm more mature. I'm an adult
Mm.
now. You know, I still like my knees got weak. I was like, this is the king of Smash. This was my hero, you know.
Yeah.
So meeting him was like the coolest thing ever, you know. Like, yo, this is Ken out in the flesh. But I tried to play it cool at first, right? I was just like, hey, Ken, what's up, dude? What's going on? My name's Allister, you know, from Pokken, blah, blah. Shook his hand and everything. And there he was just being so cool, you know, in his liquid gear and everything. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, don't say anything stupid. Just be cool. Just have a casual talk and everything. But turned out like Ken, he's actually like a very like down to earth guy. He's super chill, super chill. Like I loved talking to him, having conversations with him. He was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was definitely a pleasure meeting him. But then when we first tried Deluxe, he was the first person I played with, right? of course I want to play Ken and everything. But prior to that, he actually practiced some Pokken, right?
Mm.
And I knew of this because like I do follow Ken, I do watch his streams and everything. He just didn't know, and I definitely knew he practiced stuff. So I picked the new character Decidueye.
Yeah.
He picked different characters like Weavile and Caesar and stuff. And when I played him, he was way better than I thought. I thought he was like gonna be like brand new to the game, just button mashing and everything, but
Yeah.
obviously like a lot of his fundamentals from Melee carried over to Pokken and stuff. And yeah, he definitely shocked me, with his skill level. And when I was playing him, I was like, okay, maybe in tournament I should take him seriously,
Yeah, yeah. Don't underestimate this guy.
Yeah, I definitely want to win this, and yeah, I should definitely try my hardest, and especially since I respect Ken so much, right? He has like my most utmost respect, and to me, if you respect an opponent in tournaments and fighting game world, you give it your all.
Yeah.
You give it your all, right? So when it came to the Invitational, he picked Caesar, and that was the character he beat me with most, right? And then I was like, all right, I'm not gonna pick my main Pokemon, but I'm gonna pick my secondary Pokemon, which is still pretty good. Like I'll whip him out in tournaments and everything too. And then so I went ham on this guy.
No holding back.
I played him like it was grand finals at a major. I definitely like put up a show. I definitely did all these combos and everything, all these confirms, and I literally just like I kind of like steamrolled him honestly. And I felt bad because afterwards I heard like the commentators or like MatPat saying like, "Whoa, that was like only 30 seconds. I was already on the first round." I was just like, "Holy crap," And I snapped out of it. I looked around me. I'm like, I forgot. I'm like, I'm on E3. I'm on the stage. I'm being streamed and everything. I forgot that I'm not out of like a real legit major competition.
And that's like 100,000 people, all eyes on you, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And then the arena was shaking. Everyone there was like just like cheering and yelling and stuff. Like, whoa, that was nuts! Like, did you see that? Did you see what he did with Did you see what he did with Mewtwo? That's nuts. And then that amped me up even more. Then I had this huge adrenaline rush. And then 5 seconds ago, I was like, all right, slow it down, maybe give him a chance or put on a show, play a little longer, And then my competitive side was like, no, destroy this man.
Don't lose. Don't give him any chance.
Yeah, exactly. Don't give him any chance. I had that small fear in the back of my mind that he would come back or something, So I just gave it my all. And then, yeah, I 2-0'd Ken. And so with MatPat and I's victory, we advanced to the next round. And after that, it felt very like bittersweet, like
Yeah.
I wish I wish I didn't play as hard as I did, maybe give him a chance, like show more interaction and stuff. But it's whatever. He's my hero. I respected him. I wanted to give him the best I could. So it was all for the love of the game anyways. So yeah. So it was definitely bittersweet defeating Ken like that. I'm sure he'd probably destroy me in Melee anyways. So.
That's it. Next time we'll get a rematch between you two on Melee.
Yeah, I'd love to maybe. But yeah, and then after that, I advanced to grand finals against Nairo and stuff, right? And then so MatPat was doing his thing. It was best of 5, and eventually he won. I was very proud of him because when I was teaching MatPat, he wasn't very familiar with Pokken, right?
Yeah.
So I was teaching him like the basics, like this is a weak attack, strong attack, this is how you grab, this is how you counter, this is how you shield, support, whatever, right? And I was so surprised because MatPat, he actually caught on extremely quickly. Out of all the people I taught in my whole Pokken career, I think MatPat actually learned the fastest.
That's
he
impressive.
actually learned the fastest. And I lost count of how many people I introduced Pokken to, right?
Yeah.
And I had to have a lot of patience bringing these guys on board, teaching them like the core fundamentals and the controls of the game and everything. And I just showed MatPat like once or twice, and he got it. He got it down. He remembered all the buttons, what to do, all the functionalities, what each button does, and how they work in the game. He remembered everything, and I was just blown away. I was like, "Are you sure you never played this game before?"
You think he's like playing you on and just be like, I've been practicing for ages at this.
Right? And I was just so impressed, and I felt very like appreciative of that, because like MatPat is a very popular guy. He was very busy during E3, but he definitely like made some time and dedication to like learn this, So I really appreciated it. And so during the tournament, I was very proud of him and stuff, and he did well with Empoleon, a brand new character.
Yeah.
And then it was my turn, right? I had to face Nairo, and if Nairo beat me, then it would have to be Nairo versus MatPat. And
Oh, wow.
little do people know, Nairo actually did play Pokken before back then when it first came out, and he was an exceptional Mewtwo. You know, he knew his stuff. You know, and so I was like, okay, maybe I should pick my main character, and maybe I can control it a little more. You know, control the pace of the match. So the first 2 games, I utterly destroyed him. I think one of them was a perfect, right? And then the crowd was going nuts, the commentators were going nuts, MatPat was hyped and everything. But then I remembered what happened in the last game, and I didn't want it to be like a quick straight set, right?
Yeah.
So the third game, I kind of slowed it down a little, you know. I was still trying here and there, but I was like...
And got punished for it.
Yeah, then he beat me that third game. Then I slowed it down even more. You know, I tried to do some like stylish stuff. I want to show off new features of the game, the new supports and stuff. And then it was a pretty close game. He beat me and stuff on the 4th game. Then it came down to like the last game, right? Everybody was so tense at the events. Everybody watching was super hype and everything. The commentators were so energetic, like, oh, what's gonna happen now? It's the last game. We got our Pokken veteran versus our Smash 4 Pro. What's gonna happen? And then, you know, I just took it. I took the game, and I beat Nairo with Suicune, my main, and it just felt amazing. Everyone was cheering and stuff, and me and MatPat were so happy. We popped off. I was more proud of MatPat because he won all of his games. You know, a lot of people would have said like, "Oh, Allister is just going to carry MatPat throughout the whole tournament. He doesn't really play games. He doesn't know any fighting games and stuff." But I loved it. MatPat like proved a lot of people wrong. You know, and
he earned his stripes by the sounds of it, man.
Yeah, this guy is awesome. He won all of his games. You know, I had to do no carrying at all, so it was pretty cool. And and then we were the victors of E3. We were there big up on stage and stuff. And then we got that cool prize. I thought that was like the coolest.
Oh my god, that is like, it looks amazing.
Just like stream with like there's only 2 of those prints in the world. It says Invitational DX 2017. It was autographed.
If anyone hasn't seen it, go on to Allister's Twitter. I'll put it in the link in the description. It looks amazing. If you see it straight away, you'll be like, wow.
Yeah. This print is also holographic too. Wow. It was so awesome. It was like shining like a huge Pokemon card. It was like holographic, like the president of the Pokemon company signature on it. Hoshino, the lead developer. It was just amazing to have.
Sure, that's what I wanted to ask you as well. So you lost to Mr. Hoshino. Now, he obviously used Charizard, you used Pikachu, but to me, I'm thinking, was this set up? Because I'm like, did Allister really lose, or is this dude just ridiculously good, like he knows how to play it? Because I'm wondering if you just held back a little bit. You went away from, you just used Pikachu. I'm wondering, Allister's being nice. He doesn't want to shame him. Just come on, drop the truth.
Okay, I'm not going to give the full concrete details, but let's just say Pikachu isn't my main character. I am pretty decent with Pikachu. I know how Pikachu works. But I'm just going to say right now, I'm very, very happy and joyful that the developers of the game actually know how to play the game.
Okay.
They actually know how the game works. They know how their characters work. They know the controls. They know their moves and combos.
Yeah.
I was very happy to see that because back then, I would always just see Hoshino just demonstrating the game. You know, I'd never seen him in an actual game. And then when those developers came out, I lost it. You can see my expression in the video. I lost it. Me and MatPat were just like, what the heck? Yo, this is nuts. And like, I do know Hoshino-san. Like, I've been to Japan before, and I qualified for a World Championship last year. I met him twice. He knows who I am and everything. And yeah, when those 2 came out, we just lost it. We went nuts. Like, I was mind blown. I was losing my breath. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're really gonna play them. Like, they didn't even tell us about this. This wasn't rehearsed or anything.
So that was like just spur of the moment kind of thing.
Yeah, like all right,
that makes more sense.
We're gonna play the champions, and yeah, we were genuinely surprised. And so we were like, yo, this is awesome. I'm so hyped. And then I get to play Hoshino-san. I get to play him. This is nuts. And then, you know, he picked Charizard. I knew he was going to pick Charizard. And then I picked Pikachu, right? Because I wanted to show people, like, the classic Pokemon because we showed only the newer Pokemon from the newer
The fan
generation.
favorite, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I want to cater to like the more of the OGs and stuff.
Because
So I'm
even the
like, all right,
commentators, they were like, "Oh, Alistair's going to go with Suicune," and then, "Oh, actually, no, he went with Pikachu." Like they were surprised.
yeah. A lot of people were surprised. So I picked Pikachu and everything, and he picked Charizard, and it was such like a classic battle, Generation one of the OG 150 Pokemon. And then
Hmm.
so I was kind of like toying around with him a bit and stuff, and I was like having kind of like an easy time and everything. And then the second round, I was like, okay, maybe I'll take it a little easier. And then so I was just like shielding, doing some stylish stuff, doing a little disrespect here and there, and yeah, he actually like legitly comboed me, and he like flew into the air. He got into like flight stance. He did like
Yeah.
a charge dive kick. I was like, yo, what the hell? That's awesome. That it was like I didn't even care he did any of that. What I cared about is that he knew how to do that stuff. He knew
Yeah.
his game. There's a lot of developers out there that will just like, all right, well, here's how the programming works.
Hmm.
Frame data, all the stuff. Make sure it's balanced. But they don't truly know how to like. Sometimes they don't play their game at all.
Yeah, they don't understand how hard it really is.
Yeah, yeah. But Hoshino-san, he definitely understands. And like from previous interviews I used to watch of him too, he's a huge Pokemon fan too.
Mm.
And so it's definitely like a beautiful sight to see, just like experiencing playing him. Like he knew his stuff. So he won that second round. And then third round, I was like, okay, Mad Pat lost. I should probably win this now. And so I was trying to do some stylish stuff and everything. And then he would knock me down, and then I would shield on wake up, right? Because that's like the option you have to do in competitive play. You shield on wake up is the safest option.
Mm.
And then he did a seismic toss on me, which is a command grab, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Charizard went around the world and smacked poor little Pikachu on the ground. And then I was like, okay, there's no way he's going to do it again.
And then he come double or nothing.
And
He went
I
for
think
it.
Hoshino-san knew this, right? I think Hoshino-san knew this. He's like, oh, Allister, he's a pro player. He's going to shield again. I'm going to seismic toss. And then he did it again, right? And then there you go. Like a little of my life was left and everything, right? And then I got out of the situation. I was like shimmying here and there. And then he did this confirm where he whipped his tail, right? It's a true combo. It's like a long poke. And then he confirmed that into another seismic toss.
He got you good.
He defeated me, and then I was just in awe. I was starstruck, dude. I was like, did this really happen?
Oh,
Did Hoshino-san beat me? Like, holy crap! And then everybody lost it, and I'm glad he won too, because it would be kind of boring for like the Pokken Pro guy to like just steamroll everyone and everything. But like, yeah, this guy Hoshino-san, he beat me, and then yeah, everyone was just yelling and roaring like, "Yo, the devs are awesome! They know their game. They're so legit. They beat the pro player, and they beat the champs of the Invitational."
Mm.
So it definitely was a really cool sight to see.
Man, it looked like such an amazing experience for you, and one you've deserved for the time you put into the community in general. Now, obviously, CEO, you've just come back from there. You didn't place as high as obviously you would want to, but the same with any fighting game. You can have your good days and your bad days, and it's so competitive. But 17th's where you ended up. What did you think of your results, and what do you kind of put that down to? Do you think the scene's getting more competitive, the players it's getting harder to do, or do you feel like it wasn't the day for you?
I don't really want to make excuses or anything, but like like going to E3, I was there on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
I was going there on Sunday, and I didn't really get much sleep because I was kind of like in a really noisy place and everything. And I woke up early to do some stuff with Nintendo, doing some rehearsals and trying out Deluxe and everything. And I didn't get too much sleep. And then on Wednesday or on Thursday, yeah, I went from CEO. Then I went to E3. Then after E3, I flew to CEO. And since that invitational, right, I only got like 4 hours of sleep. And then I couldn't sleep on the plane. It was like an overnight flight, 7 hours to Florida, Orlando, Florida from California, across the country. I can't sleep on planes. I don't know why. Even though I was like super brain dead and tired and dead inside, I just couldn't sleep. And so I was definitely fatigued and everything and mentally drained. And I wasn't too prepared for this tournament because usually I grind like all day, every day, a week before the tournament, right, to stay warm. But I didn't really get the opportunity to do that. So I wasn't in the best state. I was still in a good state. Like I can still play and everything. I can still do my best and everything, but I don't think I felt like I was at like my 100% potential. Maybe I was like at 80, 90, you know.
Mm.
So the only sad part about that is I always want to be at 100. I always want to play and give it my full potential and best to my opponents. And at that tournament CEO, it felt like I couldn't give my full, you know, even though it's like 90, 80, whatever. I just wasn't personally satisfied with it, you know. Whether I win or lose, I just wasn't satisfied, unfortunately. So yeah, I I steamrolled every one of my previous matches before my first loss and everything. I did pretty good. I 2-0'd everyone and everything. Then and then it came to my first opponent, Soul Guitarist, a Chandelure player.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent player, by the way. Shout outs to Soul Guitarist. I beat in the first game pretty easily. The second game was pretty close. And then the third game was extremely close because there was like 5 seconds left on the clock. He had the health lead. And then I confirmed a combo. And then during the middle of my combo, I had a few more hits, and then time ran out. And then he barely won with the health margin.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was pretty sad, but I gotta admit, he did outplay me. He's a really good player and everything, you know. And so yeah, I got sent to losers, and then I ended up playing Toasty, a excellent Lucario player from Texas, regarded as one of the best Lucarios in North America. And he definitely outplayed me. Like, we go back and forth. Like, the last tournament I played against him was NCR, where I got third place.
Yep.
And I 2-0'd him, but then this time he 2-0'd me, you know.
The revenge.
So, yeah, definitely. And he popped off really hard, and, you know, he deserved it. You know, he's a really good player, and I really enjoyed playing him because we're both really good players, and we just really enjoyed that set, so that was pretty good. But, yeah, getting 17th, you know, it happens. You know, it happens to the best of us and everything. Sometimes you're not fully prepared. Sometimes everyone's on their A game and everything, and, you know, I was okay with it. At least I didn't go, like, 0-2 or, like, had a really bad day or anything, you know. Like, I usually top 8, but there will always be those tournaments, you know.
Of course.
Contrary to that, everybody in Pokken is getting absolutely better. Absolutely better. Back then, with, like, the top players, you know, those top players were kind of like on a league of our own, right?
Yeah.
And then there are all the people, like who are, like, intermediate, and then there's, like, everyone else and stuff, you know. And then now, like, as of like a few months ago, like maybe around March, where we had a lot of people there were so many upsets because it was always the same players getting top 8, right? And all of a sudden this top 8 totally changed. There were, like, a lot of people who were top 8 usuals that got like 17th or like 13th or even like lower, you know, because all these people, they're getting so much better. Everyone in Pokken is improving rapidly and stuff because they just want to get better. They have so much passion for the game. They're improving and everything. They want to reach that ceiling as fast as they could and get closer to us. And they definitely did that. So at the CEO, we all learned that you cannot sleep on anyone anymore.
No.
You know, this game, it's pretty easy to pick up. And there is a lot of depth to this game, but also there's a lot of dedicated players out there that grind this game every day. You know, that try to, like, learn all their matchups, get all this knowledge down, learn all their frame data, learn all the options. And so, you know, at CEO, definitely there are some upsets here and there, and I was just extremely impressed and pleased, like, overall by the general skill of everyone, you know. Because back then I wouldn't worry too much. I just worry about specific players. Now I worry about everyone, and that's how it is right now in Pokken Tournament. You have to be worried about everyone.
And that's how you want competition to be. That's what makes it the real exciting matches. That's what makes it great to watch.
Yeah. Definitely. I love it. I love it so much because when everyone gets that good, if everyone gets around the same skill level, you're only going to push each other higher and higher. Because, like, if there's just one set of top players and everyone's below them in skill level, those top players, they're not going to move as high as they want to, you know? Well, all of a sudden, bring the mob up here. Now everyone is just elevating. Which is really
non-stop. I love it.
So I love it right now. In Pokken, so many things can happen, you know? So many things can happen. So many different results, so many different outcomes and everything, and it's beautiful. I love it. I love it so much.
Okay, so obviously you're still a pro player, but you're also a big community member as well. What is it? Because obviously, you like now you're sat at work. You're obviously going to work today. What's the schedule like for you in terms of practice, events, and
Oh.
work as well, and then like normal life? Because you must be just doing absolutely no time to yourself.
So back then it was a humongous struggle, and it still kind of is now. But I decided to take more time to myself. But back then, James, I would wake up. I would go to work. I work a regular 9 to 5. So
Yeah.
I'd spend 8 hours at work and stuff. And then after my 8 hours, I'd go home, and then I would stream for 8 hours of me practicing and everything.
Damn.
And then I would go to sleep. And then I would wake up, go to work, stream and practice, go to sleep. And it became like a vicious cycle, right? It definitely took a toll on me. I wasn't getting enough sleep because I just wanted to stream as long as I could, provide content for the people to watch Pokken late at night, especially for the West Coast. And a lot of people just kept asking me, like, when are you going to stream next? Blah, blah, can I play on your stream and all this stuff? Can you help me out? And
That pressure.
I dedicated all of my time. Every second of my time was to Pokken. And it started to get a little like unhealthy, because I stopped going outside. I stopped playing my other games. I had all these other games, this huge backlog, but I dropped all of it because of Pokken. I stopped talking to my in real life friends. I started spending less time with my girlfriend, and that's right. I have a full-time job, this game, and a girlfriend.
How do
It's
you
like
do it?
I couldn't. It was impossible. I definitely had to make so much sacrifice, especially driving out to all these locals and stuff over the weekend too. Man, it was nuts, But I'm a madman. I just love Pokken that much, So eventually, like around New Year's and stuff, I definitely just cut it off. I cut a lot of time of Pokken off and dedicated more time to myself. So I used to stream every single day, and now I don't stream as much. I'll stream very like casually on different occasions and stuff. I'll spend more time with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'll try to make more time to hang out with my friends in real life too and stuff, and spend more time on my own personal hobbies and focus on work and stuff. So nowadays I just wake up, I put my 8 hours at work, I go home and I try to enjoy myself first. Make sure I eat right, get enough sleep, talk to my girlfriend, hang out with her and stuff like that. And I don't really practice too much as I should, but I spend most of my time with Pokken nowadays just helping others.
Okay.
So I'll just like help people. I'll tutor them. I'll introduce them to Pokken. I'll help them find their local scene and stuff, And that's majority of my time with Pokken nowadays.
That's good. That's good though. That's real nice to see, and that kind of leads me on nicely to the whole thing of you. Like I said, to me you look like the godfather of the community. But there is a lot of pressure from the community onto you, as in people look up to you, and you're in a position of like knowledge and stuff like that. How does that work for you? How did you kind of get into this spot, and does it interfere with your ability to be a pro player?
So yes and no. So back then, a lot of people, like hundreds and hundreds of people, would just message me like, "Hey, Allister, mind if we talk?" Or, "Hey, Allister, do you mind if you help me out or teach me some stuff?" And then I wanted to respond to 100% of that stuff. Like me, if I message some other top players in huger games and stuff, I don't expect a response or anything, right? But I didn't want to be that guy. I just want to respond to every single person out there that had any concerns or questions. And so that's what I did, And definitely it definitely got in the way of practice time, There would be tournaments and majors I want to prep for, but there were a lot of people that needed my help, and so I did that, I sacrificed my own time to help people out, and it didn't matter because that's what made me happy ultimately, because I wanted success for the game, wanted success for the community, and so I thought that was more of a priority,
And you've
and
done
so
a lot of good things for the community, like massively, and that's easy to see across the board.
Thanks. But yeah, I would spend 75% of my time helping others and 25% of my time practicing, right? And Pokken, it's once you get at a certain level, it doesn't become that hard initially. Well, like as compared to learning it, there isn't like high execution or anything. All you need is like all you need is just like good practices here and there. It doesn't need to be heavy, and you just need to have knowledge. That's all, you know. So Pokken, it isn't execution heavy like Melee or some anime fighters and stuff like that, which is great because it caters to people like me who don't have as much time to practice and stuff. And yeah, pretty simple game, but yeah, definitely it did get in the way helping others and stuff. But what I'm very proud of is like I've been talking to a lot of people back then, and they wanted to help others too. So I started helping people become like leaders and stuff, you know, of their own subpar communities, like people who had like really small locals and stuff. I'm like, yo, help this local startup, you know, I'll tell you what to do. I'll tell you how to help these people and stuff. So you can become their go-to guy, because obviously, you know, you love to help people like I do. So definitely I saw a lot of leaders arise in the Pokken community, you know, and so there's like a lot more people now that are willing to help people.
Yeah.
And whether it's like, oh, I'm only going to help people who made my character, or help people that live in my region, or just my select group of friends, or anyone who asks me, all that matters is you stepped up to the plate and you're willing to contribute. So that definitely took like a lot of weight on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Definitely took a load off. So I'm very happy for that. I'm very proud to see all these people like stepping up. So
I'm going to go with this now. You are the Godfather, because you've even got delegation down to a key now as well. You've passed it off all these other sides.
I wouldn't say that. But I know a lot of people look up to me and stuff, and sometimes even see me as a role model and stuff, or like a fantastic great guy and stuff. But really, like, I just want people to help each other and be nice to each other. You know, that's all. So if they think of me as a role model, and if I'm setting an example to people in order to do this stuff, then by all means, that's great. You know, back then I would just keep denying it. Like, I'm not a community leader, blah, blah, all this stuff. I just want to be like a top player and stuff, you know? But eventually, like, it came to the fact that I like helping people. You want to join in on this, you know, you want to help others too. If I inspire you to become like a better person, or to become something in this community, if I inspire you to like contribute, you know, that's a very like humbling title. So, yeah.
Now, one thing from that, obviously, you said you spend about 25% of your time practicing now. Do you think the players who are practicing non-stop have an advantage over you because of this, or do you still think you can handle it?
I definitely think I can handle it, because I definitely have way more, like, I have a lot of experience. Like, I think I'm one of the people that flew out to most tournaments and everything and grinded a lot. And like, I used to play for 8 hours every day, you know, and a lot of these people don't do it, but a lot of people now are being very consistent with their practices and grinding and everything. And me, not so much anymore, but, I still definitely think I can like maintain and slowly improve and stuff, right? There isn't, like, we're at that point where we're still trying to push our game and our meta and our skill gap, but there isn't too much that we can do right now, you know. But with Pokken Tournament Deluxe, with all these 4 characters and this new patch note, it's definitely going to be time to grind again.
Oh, I like that. See, this is really leading me on well, because I was going to say, from now until September and then beyond, what does the future hold for you? What is your plans for this?
So definitely I'm still down to compete and everything for Set to Destroy. I'm down to fly to all these tournaments and do my best and everything. But what I'm looking forward to most is, now that Pokken Deluxe is coming to the Switch, there's a huge new audience, so many new players, so many people that want to dive into it. And I want to be there to welcome them. You know, like when they got announced, so many people were just asking me like, hey, we found your Twitter. You're this Allister guy, right? Yeah. Can you help us out? Like, what should we practice? A game? Is there like a demo available? Is there like a Discord or like a Reddit or a forum that we can go to? And it just made me so happy, you know? And all of a sudden, like, I'm on Discord every day. I started seeing new faces, new names, and all these new posts on PokémonArena.com. And it's just such a beautiful thing to see. And the game didn't even come out yet. I'm already seeing this influx of new people. So
I've
That for me,
convinced everyone in the office to get on this as well. So like, I've literally we've watched the events of the weekend and stuff. I
right?
was telling them
Yeah.
about it, and I'm like, obviously they watch me play the Street Fighters and the Tekkens, and they just think, oh, he's just playing more fighting games. That's what Banks does. And then I showed them this, and even these guys who don't touch any fighting games, they're like, oh, I want to play that. That looks awesome. Like, there's a lot of hype around this for sure.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah. So that's to me, that's a priority in my future right now. Like, yeah, I'm still gonna compete in everything, still do my best and grind and everything, especially with this new game coming out. Like, even though I played it, I'm still gonna be there labbing and grinding with everyone else. But majority, I'm really excited to welcome all the new faces here and like redirect everyone and point them to like their nearest local or
Yeah,
how to play the game or who they can talk to and stuff like that.
brilliant. And my last thing for you is, where do you see Pokken in the next like 2 to 3 years? Where do you see it growing from here as an esport? Because obviously when it comes on Switch, we spoke about it, we're expecting this influx, it to grow a bit further. How do you see the tournament scene going? What is your kind of vision for the future for this?
Okay, so
That's a bit of a difficult one.
like season one of the competitive Pokken circuit, it was pretty good and everything. And then once the Pokken Company International, they didn't really announce season two.
Mm,
People thought they like cut support or Pokemon's gonna die or everything. But what I loved most was it was completely grassroots. All of us came together as a community and we started running our own tournaments. We started doing some networking. We reached out to other bigger tournaments. We had Pokken there, and we were doing fantastic. And I'm so proud of this community. I love you guys so much. I love the Pokken community so much because everyone started from scratch. You know, after the World Championships, we had nothing, and we started from scratch, and we're so much bigger than ever now. You know, and we're doing fantastic. We're doing fine. And now that it's coming to the Switch, Pokken is blowing up. It's going to blow up. We're going to have so many more new people. All of us in the community right now, everyone's going to step up to the plate. Everyone's going to welcome each other and just help each other. And you're going to be seeing a lot more Pokken in the next 5 years. Everybody has a Switch. So many people have a Switch. And so many people are interested in Pokken. They're like, a Pokemon fighting game? I didn't even hear this. I didn't even know it's for WiiU. But now it's on the Switch. It's accessible to everyone. It's a beautiful game, easy to pick up. There's so much depth in it and can attract a wide variety of audience. I think it's going to blow up in the next 5 years, especially since Nintendo made that Nintendo versus Twitter.
yeah, we know they're going to push it now. Kind of like you got to sit on that where they're giving us what we want.
Yep. So,
Good times ahead.
yeah, definitely.
Now, before I close this out, anything you want to say to everyone out there, to the community, to people, I guess it's people on my channel who come from different esports titles who see this and thinking, should I pick it up? Any words of wisdom from the master himself?
If you like Pokemon or you like fighting games, try it out. Just give it a try. You know, if you have a Wii U right now, just go on the eShop and download the free demo. Just try it out, see how it feels. You know, if uh, if you don't have a Wii U, just watch some YouTube videos or something of some tournaments. You know, you'll definitely see some attractive high level play and everything. It's a beautiful game, and if you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter, STDX Allister. Just hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions or need any help. I will be there to help you out. No problem. The community is fantastic. Everyone loves each other. We love our game. We don't bash on anything. We're positive, and we're just there to have fun. So, yeah, shout outs to the Pokken community. I love you guys so much. You guys are the best.
Alistair, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure for you giving me this a lot of your time early in the morning. I probably tired
No
you
worries.
out before work, but
Yeah, thank you for having me, James.
you are the godfather of Pokken in my eyes. I hope we get to play a game and meet each other at an event at some point as well. I'm sure we will. I wish you all the best for the future. Guys, I will
Thank
link below all the stuff in the description, including his Twitter, the Discords, and I'll get a bunch of links from him so we have information you guys can see throughout. If you want to get involved, if you've got a Wii U, like he said, you can download a demo. But the game comes out September the 22nd, so keep an eye out for that if you've got a Switch. And if you want to learn more, there's loads of links below that you'll be able to check out. This has been the 4th episode of Fight Talk. There'll be more to come. And it won't just be Street Fighter, Pokken. We're going to be doing Injustice 2, Tekken, and a lot more. So until next time, guys, keep it real.
Peace.